Jim? Jim? Jim!
Kept you waiting, huh?
And welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. Doing something a little bit different this week. We're playing Metal Gear Solid, and I am one of your hosts, Jim Banks, joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hello, friends.
And John Ocelot Brandon.
My arm! That guy... Oh, wait, no, he sounds more like Strong Bad. That guy cut off my arm!
This is a podcast where we normally play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs, but we're going to play, or we have been playing, Metal Gear Solid, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yay! It's not a classic RPG, but it is a classic.
It is a classic.
For some reason.
I feel like I've taken on the role of Snake.
Huh.
And am playing it.
Well, you gotta rasp up your voice a little there, Matt.
I feel like I've taken on the role of Snake. Snake!
Oh, no, that's Campbell.
I hate this game.
I started saying that when I was streaming and playing the part with the tank, because that tank stuff, it doesn't explain what the game wants you to do there, and you have to sort of figure it out.
Yeah, I did watch a YouTube. I watched a YouTube video for all the boss fights, actually.
Really?
I just Googled Metal Gear boss fight, and usually it would be like, how do you beat Revolver Ocelot? And you could just tap it, and it would say,
reflect
shoot him.
Bullets.
It's actually for Revolver Ocelot, it told me to go, we can save that for later.
Yeah, we'll save that.
Yeah, before
later.
we get into it, I want to... Does anybody have any hot gaming news?
Hot gaming news. Hot gaming news. That's my new hot gaming news song. Sort of a 50s crooner kind of song, I guess.
Did you guys, on the last episode, talk through all the video game awards news?
Yes.
Like all the announcements?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. Was there any announcements you were very excited by?
Alan Wake 2.
Ooh.
And Hellblade 2.
Well, I mean, that's just more video of it, because that got announced like 8 years ago.
Yeah, well, the video was great for Hellblade 2.
I haven't seen it.
It's really good. I mean, it's not gameplay. It's all, like, pre-rendered cutscene. But the Alan Wake 2 announcement was very cool. The announcement that it's going to be, like, less actiony and more psychological, more survival horror is pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, and I started playing the new Halo.
Ooh.
Oh, I like it a lot. I like the little semi-open world aspect of it. I like running around and saving Marines. It's fun.
I don't think there's been a lot of actual hot gaming news since it's like, it's right before Christmas, and it's a little quiet time, a little sleepy town. So really, it's more Christmas gaming news. Is there any Christmas gaming you want to do? Is there any game that you like to play to remind yourself of Christmas?
I can't think of any Christmas game. What's a Christmas game you think?
Well, it could be like, I got GoldenEye from on Christmas '97, and that reminds you of Christmas, playing GoldenEye.
Oh, okay. I think I got the first Silent Hill for Christmas.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And so you would have been like 10.
Yeah.
They ignored those like
oh yeah
age ratings. Huh?
They're like, how scary can a video game be?
But what a good game.
What a great game.
I love that game. I borrowed it from a buddy of mine and finished it, and I thought it was rad.
It is rad.
I don't think I don't have a physical copy of that game. I only have it digitally.
I wish I still had my old physical copy of... I had Silent Hill 1 on the PlayStation and Silent Hill 2 on the original Xbox.
I've got 2 on PlayStation, 3 on PlayStation, and 4... Well, PlayStation 2, and 4 on original Xbox.
I've been thinking about replaying 3 and 4 because I think I kind of slept. I've never played 4. And I think I played 3, but I don't know. I think I would like it more now than I did back then.
I definitely like. I know we have a hard time actually scheduling these, but I'd love to talk about all those Silent Hills, like the one that came out for PS2 and PSP and stuff. What was that one called?
Oh, Silent Hill Origins.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. It's got like breakable weapons.
It does.
Zelda style.
And it's got a really neat it's cool how they tie that game into like the Silent Hill 1 and 3 lore. It's pretty cool. It's like a prequel.
We'll have to find out what game Matt associates with Christmas. I also associate from when I was younger, Fantasy Zone, because we didn't get it for Christmas. My dad borrowed it from his friend over Christmas break, and watching my dad play that was really fun. A lot of my Christmas memories involve watching family play games, since I was the youngest. And my dad really liked video games, and so my brothers and all that. So
I got my first NES for Christmas when I was a kid, and it came with like Kid Nicky and Joust and Super Mario Brothers.
Ooh. I love Kid Nicky.
I played the hell out of Kid Nicky. It was really bad and really hard.
Yep. That game is impossible. I think I tried it with cheats on an emulator once and still couldn't beat it.
It's tough.
So Matt, before we get into our level up, do you have any Christmas game fun? Is there a game you associate with Christmas?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, then Matt, do you want to talk about how you leveled up?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Jim.
Sure. I binge watched the entire first season of Sci-Fi and USA's co-production of Chucky, the series starring everyone's favorite serial killer possessed doll man.
Seems to be
amazing.
Fourth wall breaking, like Jennifer Tilly's in it as herself.
Jennifer Tilly as Jennifer Tilly, yeah. It brings along everything from like Child's Play 1, 2, and 3, and Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky. Mm-hmm. Oh, and Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky. Yeah. But it's great. It has the original boy from Child's Play 1 in a great role as Andy Barclay still, and it adds like a fun little new element to Chucky, and it's a very progressive show. There's like queer teen romances in it. The writing is amazing. It's super fun. It's super gory. There's some great kills in it. It's so fun, and it just gets better and better as the season goes on, and I'm super excited it got renewed for season 2. So check it out. I was able to catch it streaming on Peacock, so if you have Peacock, you can check it out. But it was written and directed, the showrunner is Don Mancini, who did the original Child's Play. It is way fun. Brad Dourif still voices Chucky. His daughter plays her character from Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky. And she actually plays a young Brad Dourif in flashbacks in the series. She doesn't voice him like it's dubbed with Brad Dourif's voice, but she's playing him like as his serial killer character in the 80s. She looks just like him. They put like a Brad Dourif wig on her and like one of those 80s suits with like the trench coats. She looks just like him.
Oh, that's really cool.
It is crazy. But yeah, it's a ton of fun. Really worth checking out. How did you level up, John?
Well, I decided I was listening to a podcast called Gayest Episode Ever, and they were talking about a show called Out of This World, which I'd never heard of. It wasn't one that was available in Montreal when I was a kid. 80s sitcom, sort of Family Matters when it got wackier style, Sabrina style, Small Wonder style. So like a very high concept, dumb, like silly show. But it's really fun. Like it's cheesy. She's an alien with magic powers, so there's lots of like 80s cheap special effects, which I love. But the jokes actually land a lot of the time. There's one episode, it's on YouTube, where she's gets a song stuck in her head, and it makes her like every time it's stuck in her head, she imagines that the singers are there, and they sort of get materialized singing this annoying song.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, it's really cute and funny.
Speaking of getting stuff stuck in your head, like I listened to the theme for that yesterday when you were telling me about it, and one, it's a super catchy theme, and two,
it's the worst song ever.
It's a real earworm. There's one of the lyrics at the beginning is, "Would you rather go to Earth?" And that was on repeat in my brain all day yesterday.
On a star, catch movies up in a jar. Yeah, that's that's a Sinatra
I watched
song.
a little bit of it, Johnny.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was terrible, and you're bad.
I mean, it's not good. Like, definitely don't go in there. It's Perfect Strangers level. As someone who openly likes Perfect Strangers,
Is Perfect Strangers bad?
I mean, it's like this. I would say Mark Lynn Baker and Bronson Pinchot probably have a bit more comic chops than the daughter, because she's 10 or 14 or whatever. But I think the mom's a good comedic actress. She's really fun. And but yeah, if you don't like this kind of stuff, that's okay. It's bad, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, but if you do like this kind of stuff, it's not okay.
The other thing I did was on the 3DS store.
Hello, I just realized that I posted at 4:00 in the morning that I'm lost on Facebook.
Yes, you sure did. I hope you weren't driving.
No, I wasn't driving. That was the problem.
Oh.
I guess we'll get into that in my level up in a moment.
Yeah.
So
You said you didn't have a level up, though.
No, I leveled up all right. I leveled up.
So
But good.
I did buy all the Sega Super Scaler games on the 3DS store, like all those old arcade games, because they translate to the 3D on the 3DS super well, and they're just really good ports. They're by M2, one of my favorite retro game re-release companies, probably my favorite, and they're just super high quality ports, and it's interesting seeing these games how they're meant to be played rather than like the crappy Nintendo or Famicom or Master System versions or Genesis versions, like seeing them running well with actual scaling and stuff. Like Galaxy Force 2 looks incredible. What a good looking game. And Afterburner 2, I mean, I played those in the arcades. I remember that. I played Afterburner in the arcades, at least. And yeah, going back and seeing these now, they just fit really well on the 3DS, and they're cheap. They're like $7 each. So if you want to go play some old 3DS games or old arcade games on 3DS, I recommend getting those because they work really well with the 3D display. That is my level up. What about you, Matt? I heard you got lost.
I got lost.
Tell us context.
All right. My office Christmas party was last night. And I don't know what happened. I have not seen any reports of any bodies found, so I don't think I killed anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow at like 4:00 in the morning, I just kind of opened my eyes and was sitting on some stairs somewhere at this resort where my Christmas party was, but like not where the Christmas party was.
You just
in one of the hotels. one of the room. I don't know how do you describe them. Anyway,
Suites.
That's it. That's all I got. I guess I posted "I'm lost" on my on Facebook before my phone died.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I got. Somehow at like 6, then I slept on a bench for a while, and then at like 6 a.m. I managed to find the clubhouse, and somebody let me charge my phone. And then I Ubered home.
I woke up this morning and checked my phone at like 6:30, and Matt had sent a message 20 minutes before that said, "I just got home." I was like, there's no way we're still going to be able to record this podcast today. But you're doing it. You're doing it. Proud of you.
I don't know how I got to this stairs.
Well,
I can't remember anything after like
stairs.
midnight, and nobody can really tell me what happened. Like
I could tell you at 7:45, you
vanished.
walked away from the party and watched it from afar like a creep.
That's true. That's one thing you said to us as well.
Yep.
that is true, but that was because I was feeling kind of queasy, and I also was hitting the garage while I was over there, watching the party from afar, and then once that kicked in, the queasiness went away, and I felt much better.
And you also kept changing your name from Matt to Millie.
Oh, that's right.
And Ellen.
Ellen was the real. I started as Matt, and then I changed to Eric, and then I changed to Shannon, and then they made us wear name tags this year, so I decided that I would trade name tags all night. My ultimate goal was to get Dan, the HR man's name tag, and then he didn't wear one, which was very frustrating since he made me wear one when I told him, no fucking way am I wearing a name tag. And that's it. Somehow I ended up with his wife's name tag, though. So, Ellen. It said HR Wifey underneath it.
It did say that. He showed us a picture of it. That's why I know that Ellen is the HR wifey.
God, I mean, at least since I work remote now, I'm not having that dreading going in on Monday and having everybody be like, yo.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. Boy, the last thing I remember is talking to some ladies, and then I woke up on some stairs several hours later, and I'm wondering if one of them drugged me. I was still clothed, though, so that's good. What the fuck? Anyway, I guess I posted on Facebook in the middle of the night, I'm lost.
Uh-huh. And I was kind of wanting to write back, but you are posting on Facebook. You have some kind of computer.
I ordered an Uber is the thing, and then my phone died while I was waiting for the Uber. He got to the entrance to the resort. The resort is a golf resort, so it's huge. He got to the entrance and was asking me where I was, and then my phone died.
Did you find him?
No, I did not.
Oh.
I slept on a bench for a while.
Oh.
I noticed my brother's car, and I was like, oh, that's his building. And then I went in, and I was like, wait, I don't know what room his is. And then I saw a bench, and I was like, things will look better when I've slept a little more.
Jesus.
Yeah, my body feels like I got hit by a truck. I am almost 40, and I slept on some stairs and a bench. I'm going to die today. Mm-hmm. Anyway, don't worry about Matt, folks. I don't usually go quite that hard. It was the tequila that they were making us drink all night. And also, I was drinking beer and wine and liquor.
I'm drinking all the stuff.
I was drinking all of the stuff. All right, that's it for me. That's how I leveled up, I guess. Did I do anything this week? The Wheel of Time's gotten pretty good, I guess. I'm still very frustrated by some minor changes that they make. But that show is actually pretty entertaining, and you should check it out if you have not. Last episode comes out next week. And then I will watch it 100 times because I am obsessed with it.
I'm busy watching the new Sex and the City spin-off show, and then that happened, or whatever it's called.
You are not. You're a liar.
No, I really am. I've been watching that. It's good.
I thought it was just a movie. Is it a show?
Yeah, it's a show.
What? What's the show?
What happened? Whatever it's called, the Sex and the City spin-off show.
Oh
Is it a
yeah,
spin-off?
it's a series. Yeah, and then
What's it a spin-off of?
will-
How's it a spin-off?
Well, it's a new series. It's got a different title.
Okay. So it's a sequel.
Yeah,
Gotcha. That's what I thought.
yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to address some of the issues that the first show had.
Well, I'll admit that I am not fully caught up. I got to Psycho Mantis, and he did kill me several times, and I gave up this morning and decided to go to the store instead. And then, but I'm close, and I will finish up by next week, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to finish because unless travel gets restricted in Canada, which it might, I'm flying out to Ottawa on Tuesday. So,
ooh, what's in Ottawa?
My mom. I'm taking my mom to get her booster on the 23rd. So
That's good.
yeah,
Good boy, John.
yeah.
Good boy, John.
It'll be nice.
All right, well, let's get through this episode because I haven't eaten in 24 hours. Let's go.
Okay.
I feel like and when did this game originally come out?
This game came out in 1990. Yeah, let's talk about our experiences. 1998.
Yeah.
So you were like 9.
I was 11.
Oh. I thought you were born in 1989.
87.
Oh, okay.
I remember, I think this game came, because this was a really big game release, and I think I got it for the first time on like maybe one of those like demo discs you got from like Pizza Hut or out of an EGM or something.
Yeah.
And I played the first part of it and hated it. And I've tried to play it like, I don't know, like 10 times in the intervening years, and while I've really enjoyed other Metal Gear games, I never really made it back to this one to play it again. And but I feel like I was able to absorb a lot of the story just through cultural osmosis, as much as it's been discussed. But a lot of it I didn't know, so it's been really fun going back and experiencing this game.
I tried to get you guys to play the Twin Snakes version.
I feel like I should have, but I don't want to jack around with an a GameCube.
Yeah. I had that. I got a PlayStation Classic for this, just for this, so I am playing it on that. I didn't play. I watched somebody play bits of this when I was a kid, and it was very interesting, and I played it a little bit, but I was not good at it. Mm-hmm. And then I did play it a few years later on something else. Maybe. I don't fucking know.
Can I say something about the PlayStation Classic? That's also how I'm playing it. What a piece of junk that thing is. Like, it is a cheap little piece of junk. Like, they give you a controller that's got like a 3-foot cord on it.
Yeah.
The power thing is like the power cable's just it doesn't
come with a base.
It doesn't come with a base.
Cable without a base.
Yeah, it's so shitty, and like it weighs like 2 ounces, so you feel like you're gonna break it if you breathe on it.
Uh-huh.
It is
you
like
have to sit 2 inches in
good.
front of your fucking giant television because of the tiny fucking controller.
I had to get a lawn chair and put it in front of my living room TV because it would not reach the couch.
Yeah, I've been playing it in my bedroom so that I can.
Yeah, the PS Classic junk.
Mm-hmm.
Junkatron.
I did play a little Battle Arena Tushinden then. That game does not hold up, but boy did I love it when I was a teenager.
When I first got my PS Classic, on Amazon they sell these USB things that you can plug into your PS Classic and it will add like another 200 games. Mm-hmm. And I did that for a while and it was cool because there was a ton of games on there, not just the kind of middle of the road ones that came with the actual PS Classic, but then it
middle
just
of the road
like
games like Final Fantasy VII.
Well, like a lot of like lesser known titles were on there, but like, and it was super cool, and then it just like stopped working. I don't know what the deal was. Yeah,
that sucks. I was just thinking about buying one of those, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
the kids might enjoy it. I don't know. It does have 2 controllers, so that's nice.
But none of them are DualShocks, right?
No.
They don't even have the analogs, and my fingers are really reaching for those analogs, and they're not there.
Me too.
And that game was an early analog. Like it had all the analog features, like rumble and analog controls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because this is not. Wow, that is trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim is 100% right. Fuck this piece of junk PlayStation Classic. Don't buy one. They really.
I think they stopped making them, didn't they?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're probably doing the Nintendo thing. We'll just do limited runs once every couple of years to boost our quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, it works for fucking Nintendo.
I've been playing. Anyway, last night I played my TurboGrafx Mini for a few hours.
That's cool.
And that thing was like $60 on Amazon when it came out, and now it's like $400 because they only made a couple of thousand.
Oh my gosh,
that's stupid. It's good. Lots of fun shooters and stuff. And it's got a 6-foot or 9-foot cable. Like it's got a really long cable, unlike the actual TurboGrafx.
I like going back and being able to play those old games, but let's be honest, there's an easier way to do this.
Turbo CD games are not that easy because you got to get the stupid BIOS and then install that into your emulator. It's annoying. But Dolphin's super easy to set up. Like I was
really?
intimidated by Dolphin. You just download Dolphin. That thing, I said it, like the only thing is that you have to create a profile for your controller, like whatever, Xbox controller. So you
Sure.
take like 10 minutes setting that up, and then you have to save it, and then that's fine. And
That's not bad.
But yeah, I would actually
Is it just like mapping to the different emulators?
Yeah,
Is that what
mapping
all the
to
controller thing does?
mapping to your different
Yeah.
sticks and stuff.
Yeah.
I would recommend installing Dolphin and playing Twin Snakes. I did first play this game in 1998. I bought it when it came out and finished it in like 2 days. And I was like,
Whoa.
well, it's so short. It is such a short
Yeah,
game.
it's pretty short. Yeah.
And I like this game controls like no other game, which is bad, I think. And they keep these terrible controls until like Metal Gear 5, I guess, is when they actually.
Is 5 Guns of the Patriots?
5
Is it really? No.
is Ground Zeroes, and the other one.
Yeah, 4 is Guns of the Patriots.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. I really liked 4.
Yeah.
Really?
I loved 4,
the most
actually.
loathed one.
4 is the
Well,
one
like,
with
when it
all the
actually-
bosses are hot models.
Yeah, but in 4, like when they actually let you play, because it's mostly cutscenes that whole
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
when they actually let you play it, it's really fun. But yeah, they are like all hot boss ladies.
I do wish I got Vanessa's. There's a really egregious cutscene that I wanted Vanessa's input on. So there's a statement I will read from her later, but she just is like,
Here's a question.
I'm not playing this.
Here's a question. Have either of you played any of the other earlier Metal Gear games? Because this is not the first game in this series, I guess.
Yeah,
I have not.
I played the Nintendo one when it came out and didn't get anywhere because that game is incomprehensible unless you have a strategy
Yeah.
guide.
I mean, this game is incomprehensible.
I finished it without looking up anything back in the day.
Back in the day.
But I played it again, and there is a deluxe version of Metal Gear Solid 3 that came with a disc with Metal Gear Solid, or Metal Gear 1 and 2. The MSX versions, but like with better translation and all the content restored, so not the Nintendo version. That's a good way to see it. Like, it's funny, all the art is in the original. They did change it because in the original MSX versions, all the arts were just stolen from like Kyle Reese from Terminator, or the guy from Snake Plissken from
Escape from New York.
Escape from New York. Like, they're all just like copies of the promotional art from those games. So they redrew them to look less like that. But they're interesting. They're basically, especially Metal Gear Solid 2 is basically Metal Gear 2 is basically Metal Gear Solid. Like, they're very very similar games. They have different plot, but they like content wise they're extremely similar.
Yeah, Wikipedia says this is the third game in this. Solid is the third game in the series. I mean, what I like about it is that it is, and what I feel like the newer ones kind of are missing is that this is more of a puzzle game than it is an action game, and it's fun. Like, when you play it like that, it's pretty fucking entertaining. Like, you get into a room and you dodge around the guards and
it's so forgiving. Like, the only punishment for dying tons is that a character will make a comment later in the game. Like, the game
he was really shitty to me.
The game doesn't care.
Me too. Because I got killed so many times in like the first hour of this game before I figured out like the surveillance camera mechanics and how to actually interact with the enemies, like how to punch them and how to chokehold them.
Yeah.
I died so many times before I finally got that nailed down.
I got a certain cyber ninja killed me a dozen times yesterday, and I was screaming at my TV. He kept killing me with just a sliver of health.
I forget how important getting those thermal goggles is.
Yeah, totally.
Because
It wasn't that he was hard. It was like I could see him clearly without the thermal goggles on.
Right.
He's not hard to find.
And the chaff
I was
grenades,
tossing
too.
chaff grenades.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not hard to find. He's just he was just hard. Like, he just hit really hard, and the later it gets in the game, the more moves he does. The fight, the more moves he does, and then at the end, he explodes.
with like
Kills you.
some of these bosses, if I didn't know like how to proceed or begin or what was going on, I would throw a chaff grenade. And like usually that like disrupts whatever thing. I liked it.
Anyway, let's talk about these things in order, because frankly, the bosses are a goddamn nightmare delight. of
Yeah.
impossible, super entertaining
Yeah, well,
guesswork.
I can set the plot up a little bit. So
Hold on. One sec.
Okay.
So I'm playing this time. I'm playing on the Twin Snakes. I bought this when it came out, the Twin Snakes version, but I only played a little bit because I was like, this looks terrible. It was 2004, and like Half-Life 2 had come out, and like I was right when Resident Evil 4 was coming out. Like really good looking, like next generation looking games are coming out, and this looks like Metal Gear Solid 1, but with higher poly main characters. Everything else looks like a PS1 game. So I never really played it, but now I was going to stream myself playing on the GameCube, but my stream box is just not working right anymore. So I've just been playing it on an emulator, and whatever, I own this game. I don't care. You can't buy it anymore. Twin Snakes is like the cutscenes are different, but otherwise it's very identical, except that it was programmed by the Canadian team Silicon Knights, Dennis Dyack and the Two Human Squad and all that. So in Internal Darkness, that team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I'm very I never played that one, and I'm really disappointed that I did not. You've talked me into maybe giving it a shot. This game is so. It's just the thing is as frustrating as it is still fun, and that kept me. I played for like 6 hours yesterday.
One of the things about this game is that even though the controls are bad, whenever I died, I never felt like the game was being unfair.
Yeah,
which is I like this game is technically very good.
Yeah, and the Twin Snakes version
just looks like garbage.
Is even on normal is super easy. Like that's one thing I really like about it is it's way easier than the PS1.
What's the gunplay like? Because it's so bad.
It's still bad, but you can aim in first person. That's the only difference.
Yeah, that's what you. That's. I bet it makes that a Revolver Ocelot fight a lot easier.
Yeah, you just point at him. You can shoot him through very easily through the grates and stuff. They're well made games. So yeah, let's start.
So, and you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. This is how I understood it. But there is a nuclear research station in Alaska that has been taken over.
Facility, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's for disposal site for old nuclear warheads. Shadow Moses. It's
Shadow
on
Moses
Island in Alaska.
And it has been taken over by terrorists. Former Foxhound unit members are demanding the return of the remains of Big Boss.
Is our Snake and Big Boss were also Foxhound members? Is that correct?
Big Boss was their unit leader, right?
He was their big daddy.
Yeah. And then they all had code names, so he was the only one that ever got Snake, and then there was the other ones.
Gray Fox and
Gray Fox.
Yeah, Sniper Wolf is later. This is Solid Snake, the guy that you're playing as. You find this out in Metal Gear 1, so it's not a spoiler. Big Boss is his father, and there's it was very dramatic that they killed him.
It's not really his father, he's like a clone of him, right?
That's later retcons, right?
I think that's more stuff you find out in this game, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, okay. That part really confused me and all the
they start talking about Les Enfants Terribles. There's one name drop of that.
Les Enfants Terribles.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I was just looking it up, and I guess so. Metal Gear 1, you played Solid Snake, who is an operative of Foxhound, and of course you have to go destroy a Metal Gear that can shoot nukes, because that's what every game is about.
Yeah.
And it says the game was a major international success, with the NES version selling 1 million units in the United States. Wow.
It had this really cool ad where it showed all the different items mines and gas masks and different weapons, sniper rifles, and it was on the back of every comic book in the 80s. I was like, wow, this looks so cool.
I didn't realize that. I remember that actually, but I didn't realize this. Metal Gear takes place in an alternate history where the Cold War does not end after the 80s but continues into the 90s. And the first game takes place in 95.
Yeah. And the second game takes place 2005 or so. Or not the third game. This game is in the 2000s.
Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake.
Yeah, I'll have to go. I never finished that, but I played it for a couple hours. It was neat. It definitely, it's a retro game. It's top down, but it's neat. And so you're on Shadow Moses Island. There's a long cutscene on the sub if you don't start the game, where it seems like Snake is being detained. He's like in a cell, sort of being explained his mission. He's been stripped naked, and they're telling him he can't bring any equipment. He's been chosen for this mission because even though he's like retired soldier.
Wait.
At the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you don't hit start, let it.
How do they get away with that? His name is Snake. That's just fucking Snake Plissken. How do they get away with it, is my question. That's literally the opening of fucking Escape from New York.
He's Solid Snake. That's his code name. I don't think you ever find out his real name in the game. He goes by the code name Snake, code name something Commander Plissken in Metal Gear Solid 2.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So the Colonel has recruited him again, and they are bringing him in. But it sure feels like they're not giving the whole details of what's happening. But he's being sent with on-site procurement. They're going to send him in a little mini submarine that he gets out of. That's like the beginning of the game and his goal is to neutralize the nuclear threat of.
Well, he has
rescue.
2 objectives: is rescue the executive guys, and if he assesses that the terrorists are capable of actually launching a nuke, then to stop them.
Right.
I like all of this jargon that they use in this like opening setup, where we'll put you in a one-man SDV and then in parentheses swimmer delivery vehicle.
You'll be using on-site OSP to get your
OSP on-site procurement.
Yeah, to get your weapons. This is something that Jeremy, what's his face, the translator, made up. OSP.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is so funny.
The translation, okay. Some elements of the writing in this game are very good and way better than anything this is Final Fantasy VII era where the garbage translation. But people are talking like humans and.
Do you have the same plot?
Yeah.
As us? Is it the same?
It's not the writing that's bad. It's like the
writing's terrible.
The story is bad.
The story is bad. The story is like all over the place, but the writing is pretty consistently okay.
Yeah. And there's a lot of super interesting codec calls about, Cold War tensions and nuclear disarmament and proliferation and, all that stuff is well written. Like it's very listenable, even if it's long-winded.
Yeah.
Which it really is, because you get interrupted. Like the first thing you do after you get out of your little sub and then crawl up into this loading bay is have a 10-minute phone call with the Colonel, and he introduces like Naomi and Mei Ling.
Yeah, that's a long codec call. There's some long codec calls in this game.
There's you can make optional codec calls every time you pick up a weapon. You can call Nastasha. Every time you see an animal, you can call the Master.
Yeah, that guy is. What I was like, who is this guy?
Master Miller. You can always call Colonel. Colonel gives you basically like advice if you're stuck in the game. He sort of tells you where you should be going next, and like if you're on a boss fight, he'll slowly give you more information on how to beat the boss. So if you're ever stuck on a boss, you can keep calling him, and he'll basically be like, "Fine, Snake, unplug the controller and plug it into port 2." There's a whole wacky cast of characters, and immediately you start talking to Naomi, and she's like, "How about I get you out of those clothes later?" It's like, why?
Yeah, everyone's so horny.
And Snake is so dumb and horny. Yeah. He's like, I guess he's a virgin. He's never talked to girls before.
That's what it seems like. He's very like
What are you talking about?
He has no like.
He doesn't know how to talk to women.
No.
Except for these women eat up everything he says.
That's true. Yeah. But everything he says is so clumsy.
Yeah, I assume he's got like some kind of pheromones. Except it's over the phone, so I don't know how they're...
It's called the fox dye virus. It's lethal too.
Whoa.
Sorry.
You don't even learn about that this chunker. But yeah, it's lethal to women's libidos. There's some sexy neuropeptides that he's been injected with.
Oh yeah, they do mention that like gave him a shot which was an anti-freezing peptide, so he won't freeze to death and get pneumonia when he's outside.
Yeah, that's how he can, like... I mean, his suit does cut down some of the coldness because you are in Antarctica in a snowstorm, but there's also... He's been given various peptides that reduce his sensation of cold, or they help him keep his body warm, and also reduce his appetite and get rid of like stomach acid, which is how he can smuggle his cigarettes.
That's right.
Gotta get those cigarettes in.
Yeah.
Which does work. You can use those to dodge the lasers in the laser room.
Yeah, that's what I had to do.
If you don't have the thermal goggles. But you can also blow up the receivers too. There's a million ways to get through that one. So yeah, you start off. Colonel tells you your mission. You don't have weapons in this first area. I find the first couple of areas, the first 3 rooms of Metal Gear Solid, are the hardest ones in the game, and the game gets easier and easier as it goes.
Yeah,
like
it was like once I got over this initial hump, it wasn't that bad. But
yeah, that first room always takes me like half an hour.
Yeah, I also found a pistol in the set. Like after you go up the elevator, I found a pistol in the back of a truck that made getting discovered a lot easier. Yeah, because I would just shoot them.
There's a SOCOM in the truck. In Twin Snakes, there's also a tranquilizer under the truck.
Oh,
which brings in the whole Metal Gear Solid 2. Like you can easily trank people instead of killing them, and makes the game way more fun. Because all the Metal Gears after 2, you can sort of have a non-violent route through the game.
Yeah,
which is neat. Basically Twin Snakes brings a lot of the gameplay stuff from Metal Gear Solid 2. Like you can hold guards at gunpoint, get their dog tags. You can tranquilize them. It's got various states, and they stay tranquilized for like 5 minutes.
Well, the classic Metal Gear is way easier, frankly. Like, you can kill people and that's it. And honestly, like, I kind of appreciate the simplicity. Like,
and you can hide,
because I'll be too
hide their
tempted
bodies
to fuck around
and
with
stuff.
dog tags and shit. Yeah, and that's neat. And I loved that in Metal Gear 2 for sure. But
you can
I don't
do that
know,
in this one. Can't you pick up?
I couldn't figure out how to pick the bodies up.
I have not been able to figure out how to pick up bodies or how to knock somebody out for more than a minute.
After you kill them, their bodies disappear, don't they?
Yeah, the bodies vanish.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a Twin Snakes thing then.
Yeah, the bodies just go away. Because I tried that because I was watching you stream for a few minutes, John, and I noticed you moving the bodies around, and I went to try that, and like there's just no prompt button for it.
I just got myself caught up on the history of Metal Gear because for some reason I've never done that, and it's cleared up a lot of things that I've never understood about this game.
Ooh, like what?
Like who the fuck is Big Boss, and who are these people,
like
and what are they doing?
the biggest question in the series is who is Big Boss. Because
I just looked it up. Like Big Boss was your leader, was your commander in the first game, and then at the end of it, he turns out to be the bad guy, and you kill him.
Yeah,
and he just keeps coming back as a bad guy.
Well, then it's like isn't he like an AI or something?
Yeah,
like he's a member of the
Patriots. He gets like cybernetically enhanced and shit eventually, but that's later on down the line. Early on here, it's just...
And then like Metal Gear 3, you play as Big Boss and you see his origin story as a sneaky soldier in the 60s. Metal Gear...
and he looks just like Snake, and you realize that Snake is... That game does rule.
Yeah. And then Metal Gear 5, or Peace Walker, you're playing as Big Boss, and Metal Gear 5, you're playing as Big Boss.
No, you play Snake in...
You're Big Boss.
Oh, really?
You're setting up Outer Heaven. It's a whole like...
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, that's the whole like mechanic of the game, right?
Yep. So you don't play as...
And Kojima left, right? So are we never going to get like a 6, do you think?
Well, like Konami made that Metal Gear Survive after, but...
I heard that was really bad.
I've heard that is bad. I don't think you're going to get another one, because it's sort of his baby, right? Like, it's his...
Well, you know what? I need to go back and play that Revengeance or whatever, too.
Yeah,
I like that one.
That one's great.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
I love Metal Gear 2 so much. I love Raiden. Fuck the haters.
Yeah, Raiden's fun.
I like that one, too.
I do like that if you choose in Metal Gear Solid 3, if you choose Metal Gear Solid 2 controls, you start off wearing a Raiden mask, and just to scare you.
Really?
Yeah,
that's funny. One thing that it's fun playing this game, knowing like all the details about Revolver Ocelot, and then because in this one he's just Revolver Ocelot.
Yeah,
but in other games he's like a guy who was conditioned to become Revolver. There's like a whole like mental conditioning.
Yeah, he
like,
thinks that he's been taken over by Liquid Snake's arm.
Yes, he gets the arm grafted.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's so silly.
And like in Metal Gear Solid 3, you see a young Revolver Ocelot get like sexually assaulted by his commander. That's
Oh my
super
God.
weird. Yeah. There's a lot of weird stuff. 3 is really interesting. 3 has the best boss fights, I think. Although I like the boss fights in 1 a lot. Metal Gear Solid 1, at least.
I mean, they're all just fun puzzles,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this shit, guys.
So the first room, it's just to sneaky around. You don't have weapons. I found this room really hard because I'm so bad at sneaking. And this
Yeah,
is
me
like
too.
the room with the least amount of tolerance for screwing up. Because
I mean, you just have to not be in their cone, right?
yeah, I'm just bad
Yeah,
at it.
but like I didn't like know their routes, and I wasn't that
They
good at the
find your
controls
fucking
yet.
footprints in the snow, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh my god, they can do that." That's probably one of the best early things in the game is when an AI walks by and goes, "Footprints," and you're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, in that first room, you can step in a puddle of water and then track
Oh right,
the wet
yeah.
footprints.
Well, yeah, they can hear you splash in the puddle too.
Yeah, and you can, but they move around so quickly that crawling isn't a good idea either because, yeah.
They
And
do like they
gotta stay behind
move
stuff.
back and forth really quickly.
as a distraction for your entry, the Colonel has launched 2 F-16s, and so as soon as you get close to the elevator, Liquid Snake comes down, and he is like, "I'm going to go pilot a Hind D, and then we're going to attack these F-16s."
Did that happen in ours, Jim? I don't remember
Yeah,
seeing Liquid
yeah,
Snake.
yeah. Liquid Snake, he leaves and he's like, "I've got 2 flies to swat."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's got a real. Is he the one that's got a real like?
He's got a voice like this.
One of them talks like Cobra Commander.
I don't know, because he's like fancy boy, I'd say.
You're not playing the same game as us, John.
Well, no, but he's got the
Jim-
same voice actors.
Yeah.
Jim, is Liquid Snake Cobra Commander?
I don't know what Cobra
I
Commander
think
sounds
that's
like.
Revolver Ocelot's more. Because Revolver Ocelot talks more like this. That's more Cobra Commander-y.
Yeah.
So you take the elevator upstairs.
And he looks like he should talk like fucking like a cowboy, like Sam. What's his fuck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam
Fisher. Sam Neill?
Yeah, no. Who's the cowboy guy? Is it not Sam?
Sam
I know
Neill
who
could
you're
tell
talking
you all
about.
about the fetishes of this game.
There we go. Thank
There's
you.
a
Here we
whole
go.
lot of fetishes in this game.
Sam
That's-
Neill is Jurassic Park guy. Who's that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of Sam. Who's our kink?
Yeah.
Fucker. We're asking you.
Oh, the one I always mix up with Sam Neill. Well, we'll figure it out later. You walk around up. You see the Hind D get launched. That's what Liquid Snake is flying. It's a Russian helicopter, and Snake's like, "Why is there a Russian helicopter on this American base? What's going on?" And you make your way. You can get your guns here, tranq or regular gun, depending on what version you're getting, or both. And then you have to figure out how to get inside. And there's only one way to get inside this base, and it is through the air ducts. The game will basically tell you that eventually.
Yeah. Sam Elliott, by the way.
Sam Elliott, yes.
Yeah, it's the upper air duct, right? Because there's 2 air ducts and some other way, and it kind of shepherds you to the second floor air duct, which is the easiest one to get into anyway.
Yeah. And they can track your little footprints. You can like distract them with throwing stuff and making noises. And even in the PS1 version, you can like knock on walls and stuff to get people over there. And you make your way inside. That's where you start talking to, like, you have 10-minute conversations with Nastasha and Master Miller. Master Miller's like the leader who's been guiding Snake on all his combat techniques, and Nastasha is a nuclear proliferation weapons expert. Then you get to the tank room. You can crawl around here because they'll hear you walking on the metal grates above them, which is fun.
Yeah.
I think you can get your thermal goggles right away here, or it might be you need a key card to open that door. I can't remember. But yeah, the thermal goggles are in a side room here. Get those because they're really useful
They are.
for a variety of reasons. So you then have to take an elevator. How did you find this? Like the puzzle of getting around, like you can crawl under the tanks, you can neutralize the guards, you can...
I always tried to choke the guards out.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Also, like, it's
the best way to handle them.
It's weird that they didn't, like, make that smoother, because the way I do it is, like, I put them in the chokehold and then jam on the button. But, like, it's weird how they make the sound because the guy grunts every time you press it. So when you mash it, he goes and then until he just falls over.
But you can also like jam on it too hard and break their necks, right? Or is that a PS2
you can
thing?
snap their necks.
Yeah.
I don't know if they just fall down. I don't know.
Yeah, he breaks their neck, but
okay.
that's what happens if you hit the button 30 times and they go
Yeah. Because if you don't do that, they will be down for approximately half a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they'll get back up again.
So what you have to do is like crawl out from a tank, hit the elevator button down, and then crawl back onto a tank until it's safe to go in there. It's a little frustrating. It took me a few tries to get this. As I said, the game gets easier. Like this is one of the hardest rooms in the game. From there, you get so much like equipment that makes your life way easier.
Yeah. In this room, you also get your first taste of the chaff grenades.
Yes, which can disrupt the cameras around you.
Mm-hmm. And the one for guns too, like the gun cameras.
Gun cameras. Oh yeah.
Oh, the turrets.
Yeah, turrets. Yeah.
So you make your way down. You find out that you're looking for the DARPA chief, and he's one of the two people you need to save. DARPA chief and the president guy of the
this
gun
guy
company.
this whole speech he gives is very entertaining.
So you head down to the jail level, and then you find a little way to sneak in there. And you one of the things that you cross over first you can see a guard in the bathroom talking to himself, which is pretty fun. He's hates it here in Alaska. And then you can also notice Meryl, a girl. She's doing crunches in her little jail cell.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally you see the DARPA chief. And you're like, is this the DARPA chief? Yeah. We're cutting out, like, at this point, we've cut out literally an hour of codec calls, I think. By the time we get to the prison.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, I like them, but they can go on a bit.
I had one where I walked away, used the bathroom, went and made a cup of coffee, came back, and the fucking scene was still going.
Mm-hmm. Can you use wireless headphones, or so you could like listen to that as you do all this stuff?
Didn't want to listen to it.
So you get to the DARPA chief's cell. And he explains, hey, they have like a literal psychic, so he couldn't survive the interrogation they were doing, or couldn't handle the interrogation they were doing, so he did give up one of the two launch codes needed to shoot out the missiles. And he had like anti-torture training and stuff too, but they had a psychic. He also explains that so that they do have a nuclear launch capability here, because Snake is shocked to find out there is a Metal Gear unit here.
Metal Gear
What?
Rex.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, but there's a thing. If they have both the codes, they will be able to launch nukes. However, there are a series of 3 key cards you can use to deactivate the launch sequence, even if they do have the codes.
Is this what they refer to as the PAL system?
Yeah.
Okay.
God. Did we talk about the key card yet? Have we gotten the key card yet?
No, we're just about to get a key card.
Just about to, yeah.
Yeah.
What a stupid goddamn conversation just to explain to you that doors will open if they can.
Well, no, but there's also the PAL system that is the way to turn off the nuclear thing. The nuclear launch.
There's 3 key cards, and if you put them in some kind of order, then it will disable the launch capability.
And now Snake's mission is one mission is to get the DARPA chief out of there. Except what happens, Jim?
Oh, he has some kind of episode and dies there.
Dies. Mm-hmm. I wanted to circle back on what Jim said. This is a great conversation. I feel like it's the first time maybe you get like two people talking to each other in a room, and like in the PS1 version, they don't move their mouths. So they just bob their heads with every word. Basically.
Oh my god, I love the part because like right in the middle of this like exposition dump that this guy's giving, very dramatically, a guard walks up to the door and is like, "Shut the fuck up in there."
That's right.
So in the PS1 version, how does Snake hide during that scene?
He just hides along the wall.
Yeah, he's like right against the wall by the door, right?
Oh, see, so every cutscene in the GameCube version is like turned up to 11. One of Kojima's pals, who's made a couple of like martial arts movies, is the one who directed the cutscenes, and he did a movie called Versus, which has like all sorts of crazy acrobatic martial arts, right? And so in this one, he's hiding on the ceiling. He's like jumped up and is like splinter celling himself up on the corner.
That's great.
And like every cutscene has like cameras panning and like people jumping over each other and like landing on their swords.
See, and yeah, that's like a lot of like later Metal Gear stuff is all these slow-mo jumping, twisting, flipping. Yeah.
So I like one of the big complaints about Twin Snakes is that people are like, oh, they made the cutscenes stupid. No, man, they made the cutscenes like crazy anime battle. It's awesome. The cutscenes are better, and also they have faces.
Sounds pretty great.
That does sound pretty cool.
It's pretty fun though because I think the voice actors here are pretty good too. Like, and having their little conversation, like it does for a moment, kind of take you. Feels like watching like an '80s action movie, except they are talking pure nonsense.
And I also like how they have how it's so the dialogue is so ridiculous, but they all take it super seriously. They aren't like having they're I think they know what's going on, but they're also having fun with it, but taking it like giving proper serious delivery. So meanwhile in the next room, the girl has somehow gotten out. How does she get out?
She walks out and you get a brief flash of a naked soldier on the floor, and then she's next to you with her gun at your head. This naked soldier thing, because it's like he's not only naked, he's ass up in the air with his like ass facing the camera, and it blurs out his like ass cheeks.
Asshole.
Yeah, his asshole.
Spoiler alert: in Metal Gear Solid 3, Meryl marries him.
The guard?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's right. He is a character.
Yeah. That is your first introduction to Johnny, a recurring character in all the Metal Gear games, pretty much.
Oh, my gosh. That is hilarious.
Does he always get exposed ass up?
He always has, like, diarrhea and stuff.
He always has diarrhea, and he always falls in that position.
Yeah.
Like, whenever he falls down, he falls out with, like, his feet pointed out and his ass up in the air.
In the second,
I played these games and I don't know what the fuck you're
in the
talking
second
about.
game,
The only Metal Gear game I did not finish was fucking Sons of the Patriots because it was so
in
bad.
2,
Guns of the Patriots.
Yeah, he's a main character in Guns of the Patriots as well.
Yeah.
So
he becomes like a squad member. He's like the comms guy or whatever, isn't he?
Yeah, and he just has IBS. He's like your IBS hero. But in 2, he like gets diarrhea and also like slips on bird poo or something.
In 2, is that the one where you're listening with this like remote listening device?
Yes.
And you can pan over to the bathroom and you can hear him having diarrhea in the bathroom.
Oh my god.
It's wonderful. At any rate, so this is, I think, my favorite cutscene with Meryl, because a lot of the later ones with Meryl are garbage, but this one is pretty good because at least, okay, I don't know if this happened. Let me describe the Twin Snakes version, and then you can tell me if it's any different. She's got a gun pointed at Snake. Snake's like, hey, you don't even have the safety off. And
he's calling her a rookie the whole time.
Yeah, he's like, you're green. I can see it in your eyes. You're not a soldier. And then he grabs the gun from her, pulls it away, and then she like flips around him, takes out another gun and points it at his head.
I don't remember that.
Oh, that might be a Twin Snakes. So she gets him. He like grabs her, then she grabs him. So there sort of shows that she is a very good soldier, even if she's not quite as good as Snake. She's like
really
a top tier
because that doesn't make sense. She is green. That's the point. He's right.
She's been doing VR training, like so. She's it's like Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2. She's very experienced and athletic, but not an actual. She's not had actual battle experience.
That's like
Understood.
another like theme of this game, or not a theme, but something that they talk about a lot in these games is you can't use virtual data on the battlefield. You can only like get the actual data from like real life stuff. That's something they mention in a few of these games.
And then, so she's like, "Hey, you killed the DARPA chief," and he's like, "No, I didn't. I don't know what happened. It was super weird. He just like had a heart attack or something." And you get some codec calls about it. But at the same time, I guess you've triggered an alarm somehow because a whole bunch of guards come rushing. And Meryl, she's too green to pull the trigger. She's never killed anyone in real life.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of freezes up. And you start fighting. I really like this fight in the GameCube version. It's super easy because you could just like headshot with tranquilizers, and they all have a little sleepy. They have a little nap.
Oh, really? Here you can just like aim at the door and just continue shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a fun sequence of Meryl eventually starts shooting, and she does like she murders a whole bunch of them. She's a little like shell shocked from this. She's a little, she doesn't know what to do. She's dressed like a guard. She does dress like a guard though. And Snake's like, "Well, you remain here. You're too green. You don't know what you're doing." She's like, "Screw you. I can do what I want." And she says that she knows the president of Arms Tech. I can't remember his name. It doesn't super matter.
Baker?
Yeah, Baker. David Baker? No, something Baker. He's being held in the basement.
Richard Baker?
B2. So she gives you a key card at this point, and now you can go down. You can also go back up. I think that's where you get the thermal goggles, or maybe thermal goggles I think are just in an open room.
They are.
In the tank room, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can go back up and get a couple of things upstairs, or you can go downstairs and find your way into the jail cell. And as she walks away, Snake noticed something he hadn't noticed before. She has an ass. Those legs are connected to a butt. And there's like, at least in the GameCube version, there's just a zoom on her butt as she walks away.
Yeah, you get that too.
It's so dumb. So then you go downstairs, and downstairs has some pit traps that are instant death. Don't like those. You do get some weapons like C4, and they do if you go on the radio, they're like, you need to blow up walls. You can tell unpainted walls are where they keep the they've just recently concreted over, so blow up those unpainted walls. And was this easy enough to figure out, Jim?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
This is where like the first person kind of comes in handy, because when you look at it head on, it's more obvious that these are the unpainted, cemented. Yeah.
Because all the screenshots were in like more of a third person, not that overhead Zelda view that you play the game in, but all the promotional shots were like third person camera. Sort of like action game camera. Yeah. And then you actually play the game and it looks like it's like set up like a Nintendo game. Like it's got that very Zelda look to the screen. And I was so disappointed as a 18 and 19-year-old. I was like, what is this? Why does this look like a Nintendo game?
It did. Yeah. The promo shots did have like a fixed camera.
Yeah.
That was third
super
person.
Modern and cool.
Because I remember that helipad, and it showed like the camera was behind Snake and he was like running up the helipad. I remember that.
Yeah. But all the in the actual game, no. Going back now, it's fine. Like I like the Zelda style, but it was super disappointing as a kid.
It was hard for me to wrap my head around.
Young
I think
adult.
as a teenager.
Yeah,
the gameplay mechanics and the fact that it's really just a puzzle game, and I played it like an action game. It was tough.
Yeah, because you can. The game doesn't punish you for just murdering everybody, and like the guards do die until they get the shields later. The guards do die pretty fast. Like your headshot will kill them, and you can there's an awesome thing coming up where you get a bunch of claymores, and those will take care of guards real quick.
Definitely can't headshot anyone in the PS1 version.
Yeah, I guess not.
Ever.
Well, you can with the sniper rifle. That's the only time. So you get some C4, you blow up the walls. There's a couple of places you can go to, but eventually it'll lead you to this one room that you notice is the baker is tied up with like explosive tripwires.
Tripwires, yeah, like everywhere.
And he's a whiny little baby. He's like, "Oh, save me, Snake! Help me!" And as soon as you start helping him down, unfortunately, Revolver Ocelot decides to show up. The first real boss fight of the game.
Hey!
And this guy is a real character. He's like a cowboy guy, but he
With
doesn't
a
talk
stupid
like a
name.
cowboy guy.
He talks more like Strong Bad. More
And
like a raspy
he-
Strong Bad.
He mentioned like being in Vietnam. There's just a lot going on here.
But I guess he was on the other side because he's like Russian. He was in
I
the...
don't know. I
I'm
guess,
pretty sure
yeah.
he's Russian. And he's like twirling his guns. He's like, I can do, shoot anything with my guns. And so the boss fight on the PS1 version and the and the GameCube version are a little different because you can do first person aiming. It makes it incredibly easy. On PS1, you kind of have to reflect. Most of the time, the easiest way is to reflect your SOCOM bullets off the wall to hit them.
Oh, I never.
Oh, really?
I never
Yeah.
thought about that.
That's the easiest way.
I would always just try to like get as close as I can because he'd run away. You had to kind of chase him around, just like getting in a couple shots, like right as he was running away.
Right.
Yeah, same.
But you can shoot them around corners by reflecting your bullets off a wall.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you could do that. Does that work anywhere else in the game?
Probably not. I don't know though. Like Kojima's pretty consistent, so usually like those little tricks will work. Try it and see if I just haven't messed around with it. But usually those kind of things, like that's one of the good things about these games is he puts in all these little tricks and like he's really thought about how to make these games and how to like do all sorts of crazy things no other game would bother to do.
Yeah.
But when I figured out you could reflect bullets, I was having a lot of fun. So as soon as you finish this boss fight, suddenly, and there's also been like chatter. You can listen to guards talk about this. There's someone else on the base who's killing all sorts of guards, and it's like they're not talking about.
Yeah,
me.
they mentioned because like when you were in the ducks at the very beginning, you overheard some guards talking, and they're like, "Yeah, there's someone like here, and they've already killed 3 people."
And yeah, even you're like, well, it's, I haven't killed anybody. What's going on? And it's someone else, and that someone else decides to show up right now in his camo armor.
Mm-hmm. And he slices Ocelot's arm off.
Mm-hmm. Ocelot does not take that very well because that's his shooting arm.
Mm-hmm.
That is his shooting arm.
And I don't think Ocelot. He might be a boss again in Metal Gear Solid 4, maybe. I feel like for the rest of the series, he's kind of taken out of the running because of this.
He's like a major character in
4.
Is Guns of the Patriots the one on PS4?
Yeah. No, PS3.
What's
No,
the
Sons.
PS4 one?
Sorry, Sons of the Patriot. Sons of Liberties
is
2. Guns of the Patriots 4. Yeah, that's PS3.
Okay. Okay, whatever.
He's
But,
a major
like,
character, but I don't think is he a boss?
I don't know. Well, maybe no. I don't think he is a boss. He just gives like half-hour long exposition dumps in the cutscenes.
He might pilot a Metal Gear at the end of 4, maybe. I know there's a big boss
Maybe.
fight against someone in a Metal Gear.
Yeah,
In that mech battle.
yeah.
I love when you go back to Shadow Moses base and it's PS1 graphics in Metal Gear 4. That was pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
So he gets his arm cut off. This ninja's like he knows Snake and wants to fight Snake, but Snake is not having it right now. Snake's like, I'm kind of busy. Can you come back later? There's a lot of like Snake and him doing crazy floaty martial arts in the GameCube version. What happens in the regular version?
I don't remember any floating. Like, I remember him jumping around, but I don't remember there being like floating martial arts.
Okay, so that might just be a GameCube thing. Nothing really happens. He runs away because Snake sort of gets a bead on him, and you're free to explore the rest of the level. At this point, so Meryl calls. She says she'll meet you on the first floor. She'll open up the garage door so you can get out.
Yeah.
And you go back to there. I had to. You can open up a couple more doors now. I just sneak.
I had to do this a bunch of times.
Yeah, this part's a little tricky because you get to the garage door and they warn you that there's IR beams. So if you have the thermal goggles, you can just sort of dodge under them, but you can also like blow them up. But that might, I don't think you have a silencer that can give away your position.
You do get a silencer actually right before you go in here.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
There's a silencer in a room off to the right of this cargo.
Oh, maybe I didn't get that. I have to go back and get that actually.
Yeah.
So you can
anyway,
blow
I
up
had to
all
do
the
it 15
IR
times because I did not have the thermal goggles. I did use the cigarettes, but it was just really hard to tell what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
And so I did make it eventually.
The IR goggles do help a lot here. Or blowing up each, because there's like 4 different little systems you can aim at. And I don't know how you do.
I don't know that we could do that. Yeah,
I think there is a way to do it, but I'm not sure. I feel like that's how I did it the first time. But I just dodged the IR beams, and then you get to the end, and the door opens. Otherwise, the room fills with gas, and you do choke.
Where did you find the thermal goggles?
They're upstairs. So basically, right after you get out of the vent, they're in the first room that upstairs in that tank area. So
man, I'm sure I thought I got everything out of there.
It's in
What a
like the
bummer.
bottom
Okay.
right corner of that room. So you have to like get past the camera to do it.
I don't know how I would be able to go back to it at this point.
Oh yeah, you can walk around the whole base. You just
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because you gotta go back and forth in a second, anyways. So yeah, there's actually when you get the sniper rifle, you have to go back to that area. So you might as well grab it while you're there. So you get outside, and there's a canyon, and they warn you that there's a bunch of claymores. So you have to like be really careful and try to use your thermal goggles or something they don't tell you. If you just crawl, you pick up every single claymore and they don't explode.
Yeah.
So it's very easy if you just do that. But as soon as you get halfway across this canyon, you get introduced to your second boss of the game,
Mr. Tank.
Mr. Raven driving the tank.
So have we talked about Vulcan Raven?
No.
Like he's
Arnold.
when he's introduced, like when the colonel's introducing basically all the bosses, telling you like who's at the site, he mentions Vulcan Raven, and his description of him is a giant and shaman. And I was like, excuse me?
Yeah, he's a member of the Sioux tribe, but he talks like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And looks like him, too.
And looks like him, but with a shaved head and some rad tattoos.
Yeah, he's a big, beefy boy, which is great.
So since he's such a big boy, we must be fighting him like in physical combat.
Well,
Nope.
he also
jumps
likes
in.
tanks.
Yeah. Was he in any of the other games or like a version of him?
No.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I think in Metal Gear Solid 2, there's some Arnold Schwarzenegger robots called Arnolds that look just like him.
I don't remember that. That's funny.
That's in original Metal Gear 2. Sorry, not Metal Gear Solid 2.
Gotcha.
The
Okay.
MSX one.
Yeah. That's funny.
And so at this point, the game kind of doesn't tell you what you're supposed to do, because I'm trying to like blow up the tank. You're not supposed to blow up the tank. You're supposed to kill the 2 gunners in the tank. But the game never tells you that, so you have to like figure this out.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating. There's like a little crawl space that you can get to with some extra ammo here, and you can use chaff grenades to disable the main gun, but the turret guy will come out. But you can like throw grenades into his little area to blow him up.
That's what in the video that I watched. Like, so this is what I did was immediately throw a chaff grenade, because then you can run up to the tank and not get shot, and then just keep trying to get in position to throw grenades at the top of it.
And they sort of
I managed to land one like in the hole, and it did like
It did.
insta.
Yeah.
You can use your trank
knock
gun,
the
but
gunner.
that will make this boss fight take an hour. So just like, unless you're trying to go for a no-kill run, just get, and that's only in the GameCube version. I would just keep throwing grenades because you get tons of them. And if you're as long as you're like aiming in the general direction, they'll usually go into that little porthole.
Yeah, it's pretty forgiving.
Yeah. So you blow up the tank. There's a really dumb cutscene here where you throw. I don't know. Okay, in the GameCube version, Snake takes out a grenade and then whips it into the tank's main gun. And
what?
Raven's like, "You'll never defeat me." And then it cuts to Snake dropping the pin in the ground, and then just the tank explodes. In a very rad, stupid anime moment that I love.
I don't remember. Like, I remember finishing this fight, but I don't remember what the cutscene was after.
I think that maybe the tank just blows up.
Yeah, I don't remember like anything special happening after it.
And then you get a little cutscene of Raven talking to Liquid, saying, "We let him get away on purpose. Are you sure this is a good idea, boss?" And Liquid's like, "Yes, this is what I want you to do." So the next area is the nuclear waste storage facility, which is very annoying because it disables all your weapons with like some inner nanomachines that won't let Snake use his guns. And that's
another recurring thing in these games is nanomachines like controlling people.
I find like there's one simple-ish path, but I just find the guards' paths in this are annoying. Like you basically have to have kind of split-second timing to like hide in a locker and then go up the left stairs and then open the elevator, hide against the wall, and then sneak in to push the button. I was very bad at this part. This one took a few tries.
It took me a while to get the hang of like wall sticking. Mm-hmm. That was like the hardest thing for me.
I still accidentally step like every wall.
Yeah.
And if a guard spots you, it immediately releases poison gas, which is also annoying.
Nerve gas, yeah.
So then you can head downstairs. There's a couple of floors here. Also we forgot to mention the president, as soon as you rescue him, does die. He does have a heart attack.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Have we talked about the cardboard box yet too?
I only found it right around here.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them, and each one's for use in different parts of the complex, because some of them only make sense in certain areas. But I never use it. I guess I should. But I find like the guards are like, what's this box anyways, and kick it. But I guess that's only if you're using the wrong box.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
You get a couple of
because like sometimes like a couple times like I've like right before I felt like I was about to get seen, I would just use the box. Mm-hmm. And like it did save me a couple times.
Yeah, I got to start using that. But I always get caught. So there's 2 levels here. There's basement, and we're trying to find someone who has keys, and they think that a nuclear technician in the basement, second level of the basement, might have a key. So you can head down there. You do need to pick up Nikita Missile, and you might have the opportunity to do that because you can find a level 3 card here. But there's also, at least in in the GameCube version, in the offices on B1, you can also find Nikita Missile there, and so you don't have to go all the way back to the tank area.
I like that there's really no inventory maintenance.
Yeah,
in this game, that makes it a lot easier. Even though, like, I don't know, it feels like there should be.
Yeah,
but I like the fact that there's not
guided rocket launcher.
You got like a rocket launcher, a machine gun, a bunch of claymore mines. Like, you just have all that stuff on you all the time.
So this is a fun puzzle area. Basically, you go to the B2. And you have to use the guided missile. Basically, this room fills with gas. You don't have a gas mask yet, although you do find one in this area. You have to use the guided missile to blow up a control panel that turns off the electrified floor. Yeah, this part's fun.
You had to hit it a few times, too.
Yeah.
I like it.
And you have to make sure the missiles are moving fast enough or the turrets will blow up. In one of these rooms, you can actually find a gas mask if you like chaff grenade and run. And that makes all the gas areas way easier.
Yeah.
So definitely get that. But at the other side of that is the labs for the development of Metal Gear. And you walk into these labs. You walk towards the labs, and then suddenly you notice that there's a cutscene, and all the guards are getting a bit slicey-dicey. Like, some invisible man is holding them up against the wall and stabbing and slicing.
Oh, this was a badass cutscene.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
Because, like, when he gets to the end, because there's, like, 7 or 8 guys, do you remember what he did to the last guy? He tossed him up in the air and slices him in half.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And that's the guy who's, like, whimpering and trying to cower from him, too. It's like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So you get inside this room, and Hal Emmerich, he is a lab employee, is hiding from this ninja guy and wetting himself. And I feel like poor Otacon, he doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve to be like shown wetting himself as this ninja comes towards him.
Yeah.
But the ninja sees Snake and is like, I have a real fight on my hands. He's been wanting to do this forever because he reveals he is Snake's old bestie, Gray Fox from Foxhound.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I was reading about Gray Fox, and I guess that he is you kill him in
2.
Metal Gear 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
he's still alive.
Yeah, they took his body and reanimated him and then made him into a cyber soldier with invisible armor. But I guess they didn't realize he would turn against them.
You know, one of the things, and I don't know that I ever really appreciated that about Kojima games before, but like nothing is off the table in these games. There's fucking nanomachines, there's magic shamans, there's like I don't know that it kind of annoyed me before, but now I think it's kind of neat.
They're just it's like a military. It's G.I. Joe basically.
Yeah, like psychics and mind control and AIs and nano robots, the
Cowboys.
It's great.
And so Gray Fox was, and Naomi knows something about this because she helped resurrect him. She helped build his cyber suit to make him into a cyber ninja.
She's like, whoops.
Yeah. Also we find out that Meryl, the girl, is Campbell's niece.
Yeah.
We'll find a bit more about this in a second. So here's the fight where if you don't draw a weapon, he won't use his sword, and so he does way less damage, which is great.
One of the things that I like about this game, speaking of Campbell, is the dynamic between Snake and Campbell, and like how Campbell just really wants to be Snake's friend and like father figure.
But he keeps holding back vital information from Snake about all this stuff.
But what's like really funny is Snake gets mad at him for that. And then, like, a couple cutscenes later, he calls Campbell his friend. He's like, do you have any friends, Snake? And he's like, Campbell. And Campbell gets on and he's like, did you just say that we're friends again?
Aww. Yeah. So you do fight this ninja. And I know Matt had some hard times fighting the cyber ninja.
Well, so you fight him hand to hand, right? But
he does turn invisible.
Are you saying that... Can you, once he starts turning invisible, was I supposed to switch to guns?
No, you're supposed to keep fighting him hand to hand the whole time.
Yeah.
Do the chaff grenades do anything to him?
Yeah, they stun him.
Yeah, they stun him.
Yeah.
So you can go run up and get a smack in. His health, he's got a shitload of health, and you can only do a 3-hit combo at most.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it just takes for fucking ever.
Yeah.
And it's this one really aggravated me. And then he first of all, he kept getting me right as I was about to kill him. Mm-hmm. And then the last time I got him down to 0 and I was like, yes, I did it. And then he fucking exploded and killed me.
In Metal Gear Solid 1, the PS1 version, if you hit triangle while you're walking, do you do like a jump? Because that makes you invincible for a few frames. So that's good to do when he's like diving at you. Is he can like
Not that I am aware of.
I
but I'll
don't know
try
either.
it.
I don't, because like that's one of the things that was frustrating me is I felt like I should have been able to jump.
Yeah, I
And
feel
I
like
was like, I
that's,
can't make it work.
I feel like that's a Metal Gear Solid 2 thing they brought back for Twin Snakes. That makes there's a lot of reasons why this fight's way easier. But I also feel like with analog controls too that you don't get on PS1 Classic, it's easier to like move around when you're not using a D-pad because you can sort of run.
Using the D-pad to sneak sucks ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if you have thermal goggles, you can see him when he goes invisible. He's still right there, so that makes it a lot easier too. Mm-hmm. But eventually, you beat the crap out of him, and he does blow up a bit, but he's not dead. He does limp off. Not dead. You didn't kill Gray Fox, but you realize he's your bestie. Him and Colonel. I wonder if Colonel gets jealous about this. But then you get a good... This is your first FMV dump. There's 10 minutes of full motion video as you talk to Otacon and he explains nuclear proliferation and how all the nuclear waste from power plants can be used to create dirty bombs, and that's a problem, and how Metal Gear... Hal didn't realize that Metal Gear was going to be used as a nuclear launch platform. He thought it was a deterrent, not a actual... armed nuclear thing, and he feels very betrayed because he likes to make robots like what you see in what he calls
he's
Japanimation.
like, I never wanted to make weapons. I just wanted to make robots like I saw in all that Japanimation when I was a kid. But he does use the word anime too.
Yeah.
Because like he calls it Japanimation, and then at the end of his little nostalgia trip, he's like, he says anime robots.
Yeah.
I just want to make anime robots.
And he also reveals that he likes to be called Otacon because he's what is called an otaku, someone who likes anime and robots. And I guess video games, because there is a PlayStation 1 controller at his desk, or PlayStation 1 at his desk.
Does he ask us to call him Otacon?
He does, yeah. He says Otacon, which is short for Otaku Convention.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a terribly stupid nickname.
I think it's so stupid, but it also sounds cool when Snake says it. So
Otacon.
Otacon.
So Hal gives you his key cards. He's a little injured. He did sprain his foot trying to get away from Gray Fox, but he has a device to make him invisible, so at least he can help in that way. At this point, Meryl tells you that she's walking around dressed like a guard, and you have to figure out where can Meryl be where you could talk to her alone, not in front of any other guards. And there's one answer to that. If you go upstairs to the women's washroom, because she's the only woman. They mentioned it several times. She's the only woman on the base, other than Sniper Wolf, I guess.
If she sees
is this
you,
where she's not wearing pants?
Well, we'll talk about that because it depends on what version you're playing.
Okay.
If she sees you, she just runs to the bathroom. Like, so I just killed the other guards and was like, go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I thought she was just there if you walk in, but you actually have to wait for a guard to go into the women's washroom, which is a pretty fun little trick. So you get in there. She's changing. I think in the PS1 version and the like Japanese and Euro release of the GameCube version, she's wearing underwear. She's changing out of her guard uniform into her like regular clothes.
Yeah, Snake opens the stall or follows her into the stall and sees the uniform laid out and is like, "Huh?" And then she's behind him with a gun she's dressed like Ripley at the beginning of Alien.
Yeah. And then he's like, "That gun's way too big for a girl like you. And I didn't realize you were so feminine." And she's like, "Oh, I love this." He's like, "Look at your butt." And she's like, "Oh, first it's my eyes and then my butt, Snake. Oh, you scamp." And he also sees she's got a foxhound tattoo. And she's like, "Yeah, I really idolize heroes like my uncle and you. You know, you guys were the real troopers, not like Foxhound now." And I was also given psychotherapy to lose interest in men, but I love you, Snake. Oh no, she does say that in a little bit. That she's
God, that's right. This is so fucking bizarre. I was given psychotherapy to lose interest in men. Why is this even in the game?
At first, this cutscene starts, other than him ogling her, it's not so bad. But then she starts saying, like, oh, I took off the uniform because it smelled like blood. I'm like, okay, this is still a good cutscene. She's a human, unlike Snake, who's, like, jaded. But then she just starts crying about her dad and how she became a soldier to impress her father. And it's just so bad, Matt. It's so bad.
This cutscene where she's explaining her her reason, or like she's having like an existential moment.
Yeah. This cutscene is a literally 10-minute cutscene. And I asked Vanessa to watch it and give me notes and what she felt about it. And let's find Vanessa's notes on this. I'm just going to scroll back to yesterday. Here's Vanessa's reaction to this cutscene as she cries and explains how she became a soldier to impress her father. Here's my reaction. This girl is a classic, not like other girls, sometimes called a pick-me girl. She doesn't wear makeup, she doesn't look into mirrors, and she enjoys large firearms. In addition, despite having nice eyes and a great butt, she has received psychotherapy to suppress her interest in men. Men like this because it means she's sexy without having the ability to utilize her sexuality for her own gratification. This, however, is not her most distinctive trait. The way she's most unlike other girls is her willingness to go barefoot in a public restroom. This is disgusting. Do you know what's on the floor of a public restroom? I'll tell you what, it's not good. In fact, I'd venture to say it's the baddest stuff on that floor. You know what's distressing? When a public restroom doesn't have a hook for your purse and you're forced to either balance it on your lap or, heaven forbid, put it right on the tiles. Now imagine instead of a purse, it's your foot. This is a gross woman who does gross things, and while Snake thinks it would be a waste of bullets to shoot her, I say do it now before the gangrene gets her. Her pixie cut is pretty cool, though.
I do like Meryl's hair.
Yeah. And, Snake, she's like, well, just kill me now if I'm going to be no use to you. And Snake has the jerkiest line where he's like, you're not worth the bullets.
Jesus.
Like, at this point, I just hated Snake. He's just awful.
Yeah, he says, like, the worst things to her.
Yeah. And he says, like, let's trade guns. That Desert Eagle is too big for you. And she's like, no, I've been using a gun like this since I was a kid, you dum-dum. So he's stuck with the SOCOM. And now she's like, I'm not leaving. You need me. Let's go see Psycho Mantis, or let's go to we have to go through the commandant's room. And as you start walking there, something's changed. The music from this room is gone. And
Snake even says, where's the music?
Mm-hmm. And as you keep walking, she starts like acting weird. She gets a little headache. And as soon as you get to the door, it gets bad enough that she's like, make love to me, Snake. I love you. I want you inside me.
Yeah, well, she like doubles over like before you go in the doors, I think, because she's like, and you kind of see little flashes of Mantis, like maybe like a little half one. And then you get into the room and she gets full on like horny.
Which I think, like, you're supposed to get the impression Mantis is horny for Snake, I think. Right?
Yeah, but like the thing I didn't understand is why, because like he yells about it in a minute about not being able to read Snake's mind. Why can't he?
I guess because of the training, and also if you switch ports. Like, he can read your mind a bit, because then he can dodge your attacks. But I don't know why he can't. Maybe some...
Because, like, why wouldn't he just control Snake?
Nanomachines.
Is that right?
Sure.
Are you just? I don't know. I don't know if that's a. This is Metal Gear Solid. I don't know if that's a joke
Listeners,
or not.
why can't Psycho Mantis do like control Snake? Because he can sure control Meryl, and then at this point you got to punch Meryl out because she starts coming at you, and you don't want to kill her because if you kill her, you end the game.
Yeah.
Just throw a stun grenade and she'll just fall over.
Yeah. And then you get a super long cutscene where Psycho Mantis. I mean, this is pretty fun. He reads your memory card in the GameCube and PS1 version. I remember with me, he was like, so you like role-playing games. You like Suikoden, huh? Oh, you like playing Castlevania. He's like, I will now read your mind. But I guess he doesn't do any of that on the PlayStation Classic version, right?
The only way that it would happen is if you had, and because it like just uses the same memory card format as like
Yeah.
a PS1. If you had a save file from another Konami game on there, I think is how it works. He'll say stuff about that.
Or final
Yeah.
like other big games like Final Fantasy and stuff. He won't name it, but it'll be like like
role playing games.
Yeah, I think as long as the file is there, he'll still do it.
And he'll also sort of critique you if you've been killing lots of people. He'll say like you have the blood of soldiers on your hands, or if you've been falling into a lot of booby traps, he'll be like you're clumsy and careless, or if you get caught a lot.
That was me.
Yeah, he did say I was careless, and then I thought this was super dumb when I was 19 playing this game, but he tells you to show you his telekinetic powers by putting the controller on the floor, and he uses his telekinetic powers to like vibrate it to one side or another. It's so dumb. And he'll make it move with the power
But like
of his mind.
I remember in the 90s when people played this game that was like, holy shit, like the whole medium of video games has changed because it's like manipulating the idea of video games itself.
Breaking
like,
the
remember all
fourth
that?
wall.
Yeah.
I thought this was really hacky, and like I kind of hated this game a bit as a 19-year-old. Like I just wasn't in the mood for that kind of shit. But now as an adult, I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah,
I
is.
agree.
It's a lot cooler now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
People just don't care that much anymore,
yeah.
Like in video games, like that was just like they didn't have to put that in there. It was just a fun thing like for the players. That's really neat. Yeah.
And so in the GameCube version, there's digitized photos of Kojima, the director of the cutscenes, and Dennis Dyack, and they like start reacting as Psycho Mantis does things, like they'll laugh as he does tricks on you, and like keep changing expressions and all that. It's pretty. I don't know if there's stuff like that in the PlayStation 1 game.
They don't have like faces.
Okay.
Like they have like there's no. They don't bother to like even put like a different color where you think a mouse should be, or for eyes they have like it's contoured, if that makes sense, so where you can tell like what they would look like if they had a face, but there's no like color on their faces.
So then you get the Psycho Mantis boss fight where he's mostly just throwing stuff at you, but he can dodge all your attacks because he can read all your moves.
So yeah, switch that controller port.
Yeah, eventually the Colonel will. And one thing I really like is that he does turn the game off, and it goes to. This really works on the Sony TV that we had at the time because it's modeled after the display on a Sony TV, but it'll say
"Oh, really?"
Hideo instead of video when, and it looks like someone turned off the console. The screen
I don't know.
goes
Is
black.
that cool or is that a weird vanity thing?
I think it was funny. That part. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like all those Eternal Darkness sanity tricks.
It feels
basically.
like something that Yoko Taro would do as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. What do you think of this boss fight, Matt?
Are we talking about Psycho Mantis?
Yeah.
I didn't beat it.
Oh, that's okay. buddy.
Killed me. He throws the furniture around and you move like a tank.
But like whenever he would like gather stuff to throw, I would just run to the opposite end of the screen, and it was usually okay.
Yeah, and also he mostly can't get you in corners.
Yeah.
He's pretty. I think there's only his like a glowing ball attack, psychic ball, can get you. And then when you're about halfway through the fight, he does reanimate Meryl, and you have to stun her again. But then you just keep shooting him until he dies, and he has the longest death scene yet in the game.
You like become his best friend.
Meryl overreacts when you take off his mask and you see like he's got a lot of scarring and stuff, and he's like, my father beat me because he thought I was hideous. I grew up in Croatia or someplace, and he was mistreated because no one understood him, and he had deformities, and he went in. First he worked as an FBI profiler, but then he used his psychic abilities on a murderer, and that got into his brain and made him evil, and he feels very bad about that. And then he dies. And
he mentioned he shares the same trauma with Snake.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they had this little moment at the end. Because he says what happens to him, and then he mentions, like, you and I share the same. Maybe that's why he can't control him. They share the same trauma. Doesn't he mention that as like a stimulation for his psychic powers or something?
Maybe.
Like trauma or something like that?
And then you got to put he asks you to put the mask back on so he can die alone and not hearing the voices. It shields him from like the thoughts of other people.
But yeah, I thought, because like Snake brings this up later, like when one of the mini codec conversations, he says something like, that was the trauma that we shared where we both I don't remember, something traumatic.
Yeah. So then
I was watching Chungus in the background.
Yeah.
What happened?
What is she doing?
Mantis died. Psycho Mantis dies.
Oh no.
And so then you and Meryl are like, okay, well, we just gotta cross through to the next area, the communications tower, and we gotta disable the comms tower or something.
Is this where you interact with the dogs?
Yes.
Yeah. This is another place to use a cardboard box, I think.
Yeah, you don't want to hurt those dogs because you get an item later that they become friends with you, and they love Meryl. They approach her with little hearts.
They get little heart, little heart icons.
So you make your way through these caves. You don't kill the dogs because you're not a monster. And then you get to this next area, and she's like, okay, I'll show you how to get through these claymore mines. But once again, you can just go on your tummy and pick them up. Like, what are you doing, Meryl? But as soon as you get through them, and Meryl's like bragging about how good she is at this, you notice a little laser dot sight on her. And she's like, what the... And she has like 30 seconds to react here, but doesn't. She doesn't dive out of the way. And then the laser dot does blast out both her kneecaps and then her shoulder. It's pretty gross.
Wow.
They go to town on her. She is thoroughly disabled by the sniper. And she's like left out in the middle of this long cement corridor. And you don't have a sniper rifle yet. So... you can't do anything, and Meryl's like, go, just don't come save me, and Snake's like, Campbell's like, hey, you need to save Meryl, but you need a sniper rifle first. So either you go back to the armory in the first set of buildings, or in those offices across from the commandant's office in the nuclear storage facility, you can find, at least I think this is a GameCube only thing, the sniper rifle is also there. But I think in the PS1 game, you have to go all the way back to the tank base and go to the armory and grab the Nikita sniper rifle. Or not Nikita, just the regular sniper. PSG-1.
Yeah.
Out there. And you have a little sniper fight. There's some, thermazine or whatever, some, anti-shaky drugs, so you can snipe
that's
better.
the Durazepam?
Yeah. So you have that, and that helps you zoom in super close to her. This fight's pretty fun. I like a good sniper off. So it's like sniper versus sniper.
Me too.
I got the tranquilizer sniper, so I did put her to sleep instead of killing her.
She is a terrible sniper. Mm-hmm. You can see her very clearly behind these trees if you have the sniper rifle. Mm-hmm. You can use the Nikita rocket launcher to figure out her location because it will still lock onto her.
Oh,
and then
isn't that the second fight? I think that's the second fight.
Oh, is that the second fight?
Yeah.
Oh, with the trees. Yes, yeah.
The
that's
first
the
one's
fight.
down the corridor.
Yes, where she shoots Meryl. Yeah.
And you cannot use the rocket launcher here, which is a big bummer. Mm-hmm. So, you get into a sniper fight with her. After you defeat her, she does. Then somehow, as you get to the door, get the jump on you with a bunch of guards, and Snake is arrested. Mm-hmm. You're taken to the torture facility where you wake up chained, shirtless, to a torture machine. And you got a little flashback before of when the DARPA chief was there, and they say he's dead. They killed him accidentally, torturing him too much. But you're like, wait, I saw him die.
Oh yeah, this is the medical room area, I believe they call it. Yeah.
So now you have to go through 2 rounds of torture. On the PS1, I found this super hard.
It's really fucking hard. Like I feel like I barely got it.
I could not do it. One of my friends could do it, but I couldn't do it. So when I first played the game, I got the bad ending, because basically this is the point where the game decides if you get the good ending or the bad ending. Because if you fail this interrogation scene, and Liquid's there. Oh yeah, we should talk about that too. But first, if you fail this interrogation scene, then Meryl dies. If you win this interrogation scene, Meryl lives.
Oh.
And you get introduced to Liquid Snake face to face, and he's like, "Hello, brother." And you do notice, hey, he looks just like me.
Yeah.
Although he doesn't. I don't know. Even in the GameCube version, they don't look a lot alike.
Yeah, it doesn't look like him at all, really.
So he's there. He's like, "Hello, brother. We're both sons of Big Boss, and we're brothers. And I don't know who's older or younger, because we're clone brother." Well, he doesn't say the word clone yet, but he does say we're brothers.
Yeah.
And there seems to be like a weird kind of erotic element to his like teasing of Snake, and then he wanders off. And he's like, "I'll leave you to it." And you see poor Revolver Ocelot there without an arm.
Yeah, but he is what does he say, like a torture expert. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you have the chance to surrender, and then or it'll be game over. And I also hadn't saved in a while, but fortunately I had save states. And he's like,
yeah, well, he tells you, like, Ocelot tells you that if you do not survive the torture, or if you surrender, then it's game over and no continues, is what he says.
And he's like, and you haven't saved in a long time.
Yeah.
So you make your way through that. You can either pass or fail. You have to go through 2 elements of that, and then you keep. There's a little break where you're in the jail cell, and you notice, hey, the DARPA chief is there, and he's decomposing real fast.
He's got a lot of maggots on him.
You're like, wait, he just died. He shouldn't have any maggots on him. He shouldn't be this dead and decomposing. And Hal comes in. He's like, I can't really help you. Sorry.
This is also where you meet. Run into Mr. Johnny again, right?
Yep, he's the one guarding you, but he has to go to the bathroom.
That's maybe my favorite thing in all these games is Johnny and his IBS.
So you go for round 2. Either you pass or fail. I passed, and he's like, "You're much stronger than I thought. We'll deal with you again." And he also notes that all your stuff's in a box right next to you. And what he thinks that you have the launch codes. He thinks that, he thinks you know where the other 3 pass cards are.
Yes, he wants to know where those
other
key
2
cards
are.
to override the passwords. Yeah,
the PAL cards there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you only have 1. He needs 2 more. Mm-hmm. And Snake is like, "I ain't telling you anything." So you go back to the prison, and someone lets you out, and it is Sniper Wolf. Mm-hmm. Also, Otacon does tell you that, hey, she is sort of a good person. You can tell because she made sure the terrorists didn't kill the dogs, and she let Hal feed the dogs with her, and she's really nice. And
he's obviously crushing on her.
Yeah, he's crushing on her pretty hard. So at this point, you need to go and you wake up. You're in the tank building again, so you have to go make your way through the nuclear storage building, through that hallway. You get a little flashback as you walk past Meryl's blood stain, where she got shot a gajillion times, and you make your way to the communications tower, and that is the end of Disc 1 and the end of the chunker. I know we said we were going to get to the Hind D fight, but I think it makes more sense to end at the end of the first disc.
I think it does too. This is where I stopped. Yeah.
There's, I guess the only mini game is the mash the button to not succumb to torture mini game, but it's not a very good mini game.
No, and it is tough.
It's amazing how much easier this game is on GameCube. Like, it's so easy. Like, everything about it.
Exciting.
All the boss fights are easy.
Do you control with the analog sticks?
Yeah.
And
you can on original PS1 too. if you have...
with the PS Classic, they don't have analogs on the controller, and it feels like playing the worst version of these games.
For sure. And like even on Vita, I think you can. The only problem with Vita is that you have to use the back touch to access your inventory.
Oh, anytime you have to use a back touch in the Vita, it is the worst. What's that game that we played I played on the Vita? That dungeon crawler game, the like French one with people who were mostly naked. With Ashley and John, you were the only one that finished it. we played it this
Vagrant
last year.
Story. Vagrant
Story. Vagrant Story had Vita back touch stuff and to bring the menu up, and it sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're better off using a controller. So that's it. Are you roundly for, or what are you roundly for or squarely against this chunker?
Ooh, I have one of each.
Okay. I think that's good.
Yeah, so I'm roundly for the like experience of this game. It like if you just kind of you need to like let go of any expectations for this game, because like whatever you're expecting out of like a quote unquote crazy action game, it's going to do all the stuff. But if you expect it to be more military, it's going to disappoint you with like all the magic, psychic, shaman stuff. If you expect it to be very silly in that way, it's going to disappoint you with all the acronyms and military stuff and codec. It's going to annoy you with all that stuff. So just like let it kind of be what it is, and it'll be super fun. That said, I am squarely against the controls. I'm only able to use a D-pad. It sucks. But once I got used to like sticking to the walls and understanding how all that worked, it got a lot easier. But it is, especially like you mentioned in those first like 3 rooms, a super punishing game. If you're playing the original version with no analogs, it is very punishing. But if you can get through that, it's a good play on the PS Classic.
Yeah. I think the game gets so much easier. Oh, so is that what you're pro or
that's so I was for the game, against the controls.
Okay. I am for the cutscene silliness, though the super long military, like nuclear proliferation cutscenes, they get a bit old, and especially the FMV stuff, which seems really unnecessary, like all the documentary footage. Snatcher had this as well. Snatcher had a 10-minute FMV about nuclear proliferation.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, that's another Kojima game. They have a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
And I think we should play Snatcher for the show sometime, because it's a pretty fun game. And that's 3 discs. We could do 1 disc per episode.
Yeah.
Like this. And so I am for a lot of the changes, the Twin Snakes. It's so much more playable. I love the cutscenes. I am squarely against just how awful this, like, Kojima does not know how to write women.
Yeah.
All they want to
It's
do
like
is
he's never met a woman before.
Yeah. Oh, and like when Psycho Mantis is like, Meryl is in love with you, Snake. There's a huge place in her heart for you. She met him an hour ago.
Yeah.
Like, I know she idolized Foxhound and stuff, but come on.
Yeah. And like his line delivery to her, where he's talking about her ass, or where he's flirting with like Mei Ling when she does her intro, where he's like, I didn't know a weapons expert could be so cute. And it's like gross.
I don't understand why Naomi's wants to bang him so hard, and why...
she's flirting with him too. It's crazy.
And Nastasha flirts with him a bit too, I think.
Yeah.
Everyone, like, it really feels like Kojima's never met a woman in his life. Like, it is the scenes with Meryl, that scene in the bathroom with Meryl it reminds me of the way that the cutscenes in Grandia with the girls talking about their breasts, like first of all,
or like a lot of the stuff in like God of War, which is around that same time, like God of War 2, how those games treated women, it seemed like that.
And, like in that one cutscene, she talks about hiding key cards in her vagina, which apparently no women ever does, because putting stuff up there is really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah.
And then she hides another key card in her breasts, which is very silly.
They're always in her lady parts.
Yeah, and come on, game. Like, talk to some ladies, see how they talk.
Yeah, this game does seem like Kojima had never met an actual woman before.
Yeah, it really does. But I mean, I like the game. In spite of this, I really like the game. It's just, and I think the series doesn't get better. Like all the stuff I heard about, like a girl getting a bomb in her vagina.
Does that happen?
In 5? Or like, is it in her, I don't know if it's in her ovaries or her stomach or her vagina.
I don't remember that.
That happens in 5. And then there's like the woman who has to be naked because she breathed through her skin.
Remember that one. That's in Guns of the Patriots, where she has to be naked because she breathes or something through her like skin Yeah, I do remember that. It's very silly. Was she in the game where all the bosses were like hot big boob models?
That was in 4. That's a different character.
Oh, okay. There's a character like that in 4 too.
Oh yeah, 4 had all the hot big boob models.
Yeah.
Anyway,
who were like the easiest boss fights ever? Like they were all super easy.
There are good characters, like she's a hot lady, but I think Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 3 is a great character.
Oh, totally.
And the game does sexualize her, but whatever.
Like, I know Johnny's a joke character, but he's a very endearing joke character.
Yeah.
Like, they give him good stuff in some of those games.
Yeah, in the later games, he gets stuff to do, and he's really fun.
Yeah.
And Big Boss, she's really fun. She's hot, but who cares? Like, I think Raven's hot, but also Snake doesn't go, let me see your big man moves.
Yeah, he's not like
I want to touch those muscle globes.
He's not looking at Raven's butt cheeks.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Matt, what are you roundly for and / or squarely against? We did one of each, so you might want to do that.
Yeah.
One of each what?
Roundly
like squarely against and roundly for.
Yeah.
Huh.
That kind of feels like how it should be.
Yeah.
Every game.
I'm roundly for sneaking around like a sneaky boy. I like a stealth game, you know? I wish that Vanessa would have played this one with us. I think that she would like the gameplay.
Yeah, me too. But she needs a break. It's fine.
I am squarely against... Yeah, that's great. I am squarely against the misogyny. It's not fun.
Yeah, that's what we said too. Well, I was against the controls. John was against the misogyny.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I can also be against it because it's a big one.
Yeah. It really is.
Totally.
Did I vanish so I could go eat a cheeseburger? Yes, I did.
Oh, you're a hungry boy.
I feel so much better now.
Oh, good. That was me yesterday.
So tired. I'm going to go take a nap after this.
Friday night, I got after it. Yesterday, I felt like shit.
Yeah. Well, let's finish this episode up. Because Maddie wants a nap.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. So, Matt, we got a Patreon, Sleepy Boy. Do you want to tell us about a Patreon?
Maddie needs a...
Patreon subscription.
We have
a Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/squarerootspodcast to check out our Patreon. We have 2 big features, 2 tiers. The lower tier, we have a monthly bonus episode. There's a shitload of those now, like 50. So that's a good tier to get onto if you want to hear about all of our stupid hot takes on other things.
You know what is going to be a great hot take this month? The movie 8-Bit Christmas.
Yay!
Which I actually went to the garage for a while last night and then watched, and I'm probably going to have to watch it again. But
is it on Netflix?
Not bad. It's on HBO Max.
HBO.
Oh, okay. I'm sure.
You know what?
Crave.
For like a little kids want a Christmas thing movie, pretty good.
Oh,
okay.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
That is against the popular opinion, as that I understand, but I have not watched it myself. Anyway, and our second tier allows you to vote on upcoming games. That's right. Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021 was the final vote of the year. Mm-hmm. Next up, we'll be playing Dragon Age 2.
Yeah, Dragon Age.
And then after that, it's 2022, the year where you pick the games that we play via vote. We're going to have votes all fucking year, so jump on that.
Yeah, I'm about to start a Google Doc for us where we can just throw in ideas.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll throw in my.
Just throw everything against a wall. Like, let's just do it.
Yeah, I'll do some
Tales of
themed
Arise.
Yeah, new stuff, old stuff,
Yeah.
RPGs, maybe a few non-RPGs. Like, it's I want us to just like the whole kitchen sink this next year.
So if I'm actually going to get these fucking knuckleheads to play Final Fantasy Tactics next year,
I want to play it.
listeners,
I'm up for it.
We've talked
you're
about
gonna
it,
have
yeah.
to vote.
Yay!
Anyway, one of our bonuses for any patron is that we read I don't know, guys, my brain not too
We
talked
read
good.
their patreon.com usernames on the air.
Uh-oh. Some of them.
Yeah. And I'm
Used to be all of
gonna
'em.
kick us off this week by reading a few, and I
Please
would
don't kick
like
me.
to thank Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy is Miguel Torres, D. Jethro. Vanessa's mom injected her with neuropeptides to increase strength and intelligence. Dr. Fine say everyone's name. Vanessa's Banderlog, Cyril the Wolf, Ethan G. Pearson, Chris Penyak, David Shook, OMG, what is this game? Nick, Samuel Mitchell, Race Jenkins, Christian Go, Do Good Recklessly, Angel, Paul Bursch, Anthony Cruz, Quissos HD Shack Shack, John Scalia, that's a good one, Robert M. Pollum, Knopford, and Matthew Casterline.
I would like to thank Zachary Smith, friend of DeSoto, Aaron O'Toole, Aaron Zelda 2 is underrated little, Tyler Crump, T. Bumpkins is back, now that we're done with Skyrim, the most boring game.
No.
Isaac Wright, our best and handsomest friend, Stan Ferguson.
Yay!
Mary, Queen of Scoffs. Stop the shock. See Twitter hashtag for more info. Vanessa's Gold Taco Bell PS5. Saving Sid. I'm only doing this to vote for Nino Cooney.
Oh,
Wedge Coon. Mostly Rational Person. Joshua Bennett. Justin Rash. David Green. Boomer Wolfsoft.
That's the opposite of Teen Wolf Hard.
Wouldn't that be like Boomer? Wouldn't it be like Boomer Catsoft?
That maybe Tigersoft.
yeah. Yeah, Boomer Tigersoft. Oh my god, that's my next tattoo.
Alexander Jokic, Amanda Douglas, George Brady, Kevin Walter. It's hard to catch Mewtwo of D's nuts in your mouth. And Ari Kopovara.
I'd like to thank Megan Sullivan. Mary J. Blige is brilliant. She is. Rolled Earth, Michael Crawford, Keesby Knight, Jake Dickerson, Eric Poirier, Adam H., DP 299. Yeah. Sergeant Spaghetti, Jerry Schreffler, Cerberus, Minotaur, Justin Ham, Grayson, Vanessa Fan, more like Tales of Endless Cutscenes. Yeah, but this game, well, at least this game's only 10 hours long.
Yeah. Well, I think they were talking about Tails.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
I was going to say, so's this game.
Is bad in the same way, but also different ways.
Eric Pidkemi, Johnny Five Alive, Gage La Charité, Aiden Marriott, Ryan Womack, Help, I'm Trapped in This Avatar Thumbnail, Jason Timms, and Wah Wah Wee Wah.
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to have an email read on the air, email us at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or you can find us on Twitter at Square Roots Pod.
You can also join our Discord. That's fun. You like Discords? Shout at Vanessa on Twitter or us on the Facebook group, and we'll send you a link to that Discord. I think we should put that up as an announcement on the Facebook group, too. And rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on Twitter as Beige on Beige and on YouTube. Links are in the show notes. I kind of want to see if last minute, not today, obviously, if he wants to do like a spy version of the theme for this.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'll ask if he's busy. I mean, it's Christmas,
Or
so he's
like
probably
put
busy.
that alert sound in it.
Spotify listeners. For all our classic episodes you can't hear on Spotify, go to squareroots.libsyn.com or in any of those other podcast apps.
All right, everyone, for Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
And I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I'm excited to hear all of our Snake voices.
Can you do one now, please, Jim?
Yeah.
Jim, do the Mei Ling one where you're like, I don't know.
No.
That's not what I meant. I was not suggesting doing an accent. You fucking assholes.
What's one of Snake's pervy lines? You've got a great butt.
A certain kind of walking.
First my eyes, now my butt, huh, Snake?
Well, that's good enough.